In this video lesson, we're going to look at section 9.2, which looks at some of the accessory organs of digestion, which would include the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. So the pancreas, it's an organ that has both endocrine and exocrine functions. And some of the exocrine functions of the pancreas includes the pancreatic cells, which produces pancreatic juice to neutralize the stomach acid and digestive enzymes, and the endocrine function of the pancreas, which secretes insulin, glucagon, and these are hormones that regulate the blood sugar levels. So as far as the structure of the pancreas goes, it contains what are referred to as a pancreatic islets, and this is called the islets of Langerhans. And these are clusters of at least 3 types of endocrine cells, and they include the alpha cells, which produce the glucagon, beta cells, which produce insulin, and the delta cells that produce the somatostatin. So as far as the function of these, then insulin is a hormone secreted by the pancreas when the blood glucose level is high, and it stimulates the uptake of glucose by the cells, as in the liver, muscle, and adipose tissue, to lower blood glucose. Glucagon is the hormone that's secreted when blood glucose level is low, and this stimulates the liver to break down glycogen into glucose, which increases blood glucose, and it also stimulates adipose tissue to break fat down into glycerol and fatty acids, which are then broken down further to create more glucose. And then we have somatostatin, and it is a growth hormone inhibiting hormone, and it's also produced by cells in the stomach and the small intestine, and it inhibits the release of growth hormone. Also suppresses the release of insulin and glucagon, and it decreases the absorption of nutrients. So here's a sort of a diagrammatic representation of how the sort of feedback mechanism works for blood glucose levels. So when blood glucose level is high, the pancreas secretes insulin, and then insulin promotes the storage of glucose as glycogen and the synthesis of proteins and fats, as opposed to their use as energy sources. So therefore, insulin lowers blood glucose levels to normal. When blood glucose level is low, the pancreas secretes glucagon, and glucagon acts opposite to insulin, so therefore it effectively raises blood glucose levels back to normal. So the liver it's the largest gland in the body, and it has many functions actually. It detoxifies the blood. It works in making plasma proteins. It maintains blood glucose levels. It produces bile, which contains bile salts, which emulsify fat in the small intestine. Now, fat, as we know, does not by itself dissolve in water, so we need bile salts, which effectively it acts as kind of a detergent, which then emulsifies the fat, making them kind of semi-soluble in water, which then allows the body to absorb the fats. Liver also produces urea, which is a nitrogenous waste product from the breakdown of amino acids. So here's kind of the list of the functions of the liver, and these were, I think we mentioned most of these. So detoxifying blood. Also stores iron and vitamins, various vitamins. It makes the plasma proteins like albumin, fibrinogen from amino acids. Stores glycogen and also breaks down glycogen in order to maintain concentration of glucose in the blood. And it produces urea after breaking down amino acids. Removes bilirubin, which is a breakdown product of hemoglobin from the blood, and excretes it in bile. So as um, as red blood cells are broken down, one of the products of the hemoglobin in breaking it down is bilirubin, and the liver removes that from the blood. And it also helps regulate blood cholesterol levels and converts some of that to bile salts. So a very important organ in the body, which is the liver. And it contains about 100,000 lobules that serve as its structural and functional units. And we have generally three structures that are located between the lobules. You have the bile duct, which takes bile away from the liver. We have the hepatic artery branch, and this brings oxygen-rich blood to the liver. And then you have the hepatic portal vein, and it transports nutrients from the intestines. So as nutrients are absorbed from the digestive system, they are transported to the liver by the hepatic portal vein. So here's a diagram, an illustration of how that structure looks, and you can see the different parts that are there. So you have the branch of the hepatic artery, the hepatic portal vein, and then you have the bile duct. And here's an illustration of the hepatic portal system. So you can see that as nutrients are absorbed from the small intestine, then it's transported through the hepatic portal system to the liver, and the liver monitors the blood content, and blood enters the general circulation then by way of the hepatic veins, which empty into the inferior vena cava. So you go from the small intestines to the liver and then back into the circulatory system. So that brings us to the gallbladder then, and the gallbladder, it's a muscular sac which is attached to the surface of the liver, and as the liver produces bile, then it stores it in the gallbladder. And so the gallbladder then acts as a kind of a storage facility for bile, and then it can be secreted when needed, when food is taken in and needs to be digested. So the bile leaves the gallbladder and proceeds to the duodenum via the common bile duct, and it emulsifies fat to prepare it for further breakdown by digestive enzymes. And that covers most of the accessory organs for the digestive system, and we'll continue with the digestive system in the next video lesson.